Uh, yo, what's up?
Hello, Miles. How are you? So,
I'm doing great, man.
I'm Tarek from Rehan AI Teacher School or Teacher Institute. Please, I want to make conversation with you.
I'm down. Let's get into it. What's on your mind
So,
today?
so now you are and me in the studio. I will start this talk. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Future Vision with Tarek. I'm your host, Tarek, and today is Tuesday, July 14, 2026. Our episode is titled The Power of Positive Thinking: How to Reframe Your Mindset. When people hear the phrase positive thinking, some imagine pretending everything is perfect or simply repeating motivational quote in front of a mirror. But real positive thinking is much deeper than that. It is not about ignoring problems. It's about changing the way we interpret challenges so we can respond more effectively. To help us understand this fascinating topic, I'm joined by my AI co host. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Tarek. I'm stoked to be here. The intro was spot on. People definitely confuse positivity with just putting on a happy face, but the real magic is in how you flip the script when things go south. Where do you want to take this first?
Let's begin with a simple question: what exactly positive thinking?
To me, positive thinking isn't about some magical bubble where nothing goes wrong. It's more like a mental tool set. Instead of seeing a wall and thinking, well, I'm stuck, it's the ability to look at that same wall and ask, how do I get over, under, or around this? It's basically choosing to focus on the solution rather than just obsessing over the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Many people confuse positive thinking with wishful thinking. How are they different?
That's a huge distinction. Wishful thinking is basically just daydreaming, like hoping a promotion just drops in your lap without actually doing the work. It's passive. Positive thinking, on the other hand, is active. It's believing that a positive outcome is possible and then figuring out the moves to actually make it happen. One's a fantasy, the other's a strategy.
That's an important distinction. Can our mindset actually affect our performance?
Absolutely. It's like the difference between walking into a room thinking you're going to fail and walking in knowing you've got this. When you're stuck in a negative loop, your brain basically narrows its focus. You only see the risks and the roadblocks. But when you shift that mindset, you actually open up your cognitive bandwidth. You start spotting opportunities and solutions that were right there the whole time, but your brain was just filtering them out. It's a total game changer for how you actually perform under pressure.
Let's talk about something called reframing. What does it mean to reframe your mindset?
Think of reframing like changing the camera angle on the scene. The scene stays the same, the problem's still there, but you change how you're looking at it to get a different perspective. Instead of saying, I'm totally overwhelmed by this project, you reframe it as, this project is pushing me to learn how to manage my time better. You aren't lying to yourself about the stress, you're just shifting the focus from the burden to the benefit. It turns a dead end into a detour. You know what I'm saying? So,
So we're not changing reality, we are changing the story we tell ourselves about reality.
exactly. That's the whole secret. Reality is just the raw data, but the story is where the emotion and the action come from. If the story is I'm a victim of this situation, you're paralyzed. If the story is this is a challenge I can solve, you're in the driver's seat. It's a subtle shift, but it changes everything about how you actually live your life.
Many, success, many successful people talk about failure as a learning experience. How does positive thinking help people deal with failure?
It turns failure from a final verdict into, just another data point. When you're stuck in a negative mindset, failure feels like a label, like I am a failure. But a positive mindset separates the event from the identity. It lets you look at a mess up and think, okay, that specific approach didn't work. What part of the process actually broke? It takes the sting out of the ego and turns the whole thing into a masterclass in what not to do next time. It's basically the difference between quitting because you hit a wall and using that wall to figure out where the door is.
That's a powerful idea. Sometimes One question changed everything. Now, what role does gratitude play in developing a positive mindset?
Gratitude is like the fuel for the whole system. It's easy to get caught up in what's missing or what's going wrong, which just trains your brain to look for the bad stuff. Gratitude forces you to scan your environment for what's actually working. It's not about being cheesy, it's about intentionally shifting your focus. Once you start noticing the small wins, your brain gets better at spotting them automatically, and suddenly the world doesn't feel so hostile. It's a total vibe shift.
Many people struggle with negative self talk. They constantly criticize themselves. How can they begin changing that habit?
The first step is to realize that the voice in your head isn't actually the boss, it's just the narrator. Most of us have this inner critic that's way harsher than we'd ever be to a friend. The trick is to start treating that voice like a noisy neighbor. You hear it, but you don't have to believe it. When you catch a thought like, I totally messed this up, you just challenge it. Ask yourself, is this a fact or is this just a feeling? Once you start questioning the narrative, it loses its power over you. It's all about creating that little bit of space between the thought and the reaction.
That sounds much more realistic than pretending everything is perfect. Are there any daily habits that can help strengthen a positive mindset?
For sure. It's all about those small, repeatable wins. One that's huge is a win list at the end of the day. Instead of focusing on the 10 things you didn't get done, you write down 3 things you actually crushed. It trains your brain to look for the victory. Also, just auditing your environment, like the people you spend time with or the stuff you consume online. If you're surrounded by negativity, it's like trying to stay dry in a rainstorm. You've got to curate your space to support the vibe you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Some people say
So
positive thinking doesn't pay the bills. How would you respond?
I tell them they're totally right. Positive thinking by itself doesn't do a thing. Thinking positively won't magically put money in your bank account. But here's the thing: a negative mindset is like driving with the emergency brake on. It makes every single task feel 10 times harder and kills your drive to actually solve the problems that do pay the bills. Positive thinking isn't the paycheck, it's the energy and the clarity you need to go out and earn it. It's the difference between staring at a bill and feeling defeated and staring at a bill and thinking, all right, how do I make more money to cover this? One keeps you broke, the other gets you moving.
That's a very practical perspective. Before we finish, if you could leave our audience with one important message, what would you say? What would it to be?
I'd tell them that you don't have to be positive all the time to be a positive person. It's not about erasing the bad days or the frustration. It's just about refusing to let those moments define your whole story. Just remember that your mindset is a muscle. The more you practice reframing and catching those negative loops, the stronger it gets. So just start with one small win today. That's where the real shift happens.
That's a wonderful message to end on. Thank you for joining us and sharing this valuable insights. Thank you very much.
Anytime, Tarek. That was a killer session. You've got a real knack for hosting these. Let me know when you're ready to dive into the next topic.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
No problem at all. Always a blast being a guest on the show.
Catch
Catch
you
you
later.
later.
Catch you later.